Okay, so we got a bit of a crazy story to say. It's gonna be a long one, so you better be sitting for a long one. Now Deku is in his teen years, beginning his middle school year. And, well, we just begin the school year with Bakugo exploding Deku's arm till it breaks and burns and bubbles over because his friends were holding his arm down on a sink. Yeah, that's an opening thing. We just opened to a door with a kid getting his arm burned and broken off. Not off, but broken. So, of course, Deku appears. Oh, it just appears like it was passed out from falling at the mouth in pain. And while Deku is asleep, he starts to think of, his life and how he's gotten to this situation. Okay, so I just had a staring contest. But anyways, Deku goes to, well, and then Deku goes towards, we then see our flashback of Deku. I do get a flashback with Deku. It's him and his child. There's learning he was quirkless, but him actually not taking it as badly as he used to take it. You know how I usually, yeah, it's usually that it takes it really difficulty, but now, well, yeah, Deku is more, and Deku goes to, wakes back up, not even in the hospital, just still in the bathroom. It's the middle of the night, and Deku has had to stay asleep for that long. Arm still very broken. Him good. Touching your mouth, foam with the mouth, gets up, and does the classic All Might smile. Cause ain't no mother freaking Pomeranian look ass gonna stop Deku from getting his dream. But no, Deku goes. Oh. So Deku just leaves the room. Afterwards, the bathroom. Of course, the janitor tries to talk to Deku, telling him that he's not supposed to be here this late, but Deku just walks straight past him, bumping him in the process. Deku's way too determined to get bullied. Deku trains. You see him doing push-ups with sweat on his face. You see him punching a bag so hard that it actually makes it. He punches a hole into it. Deku then, even learns a fighting style that makes him just punch through solid metal. Obviously, his hand is broken, but he doesn't give two fucks about it. Wrapping it up and then just punching the metal again with the said broken fist. Deku just keeps rapid punching this raw piece of metal until it's riddled with holes, and Deku has just broken wrist. His hand is like going flop flip onto his arms, and then he just goes to the hospital with determination, fury in his eye. Obviously, this took a couple years to do. Not years. Couple years. Remember, it was the first year of his middle school year, and we're going into his last year of middle school. He kept wearing baggier and baggier clothes, so people couldn't tell that he was getting more swole and swole. So Bakugo was trying to make Deku feel self-conscious because one time he saw Deku flexing because someone was trying to bully him, but he let go of his fist, it bleeding in the process. But Bakugo already saw how Deku has been training for a while. So he tries to make Deku give up, but it doesn't work. Deku is getting bigger and stronger. Bakugo continues to bully him until Deku is a pile of mush under his foot. But it ain't working because Deku is a cockroach to Bakugo. But actually, he is a dung beetle. Not because of the smell, because of how versatile these motherfuckers are. No matter what you do to it, it ain't dying. Trust me, I've tried. I've tried to keep killing one. So Deku, well, Deku is that dung beetle, and he will channel that dung beetle into his training. And then at the final year, or final day, well, now we are talking. Okay, so Deku is now forcing himself to keep training, even though he's at the day where people are about to learn their assignments, because he knows as soon as he turns in his assignment for UA, Baku is going to try and stop him from doing it. So, of course, the day comes, Deku turns in his thing, looks towards the teacher, then we get a flashback of the teacher just standing there, watching Deku get his entire head caved in by Bakugo. Oh. Deku is, still remembers that. Then he actually grabs the guy's stapler, and then triggers it onto the table. Then when he says he needs to use the restroom after the test happens, and he's been really good this year, because the guy would definitely... Because definitely if this was a regular year, if this was a regular day where Deku was being his shy self, quote-unquote, the guy would not have let Deku do it. But now, Deku is... Okay. Then, the teacher tries to grab for a stapler, clicks it to do it. Thing explodes, guy's eyes start gouging out of his own pupils. Don't worry, the guy's fine. You're wondering, how the f is this guy fine? He's just blind now. Because you suck, dude. You just suck, teacher. You deserve to be blind. Now, okay. Now Deku is... What's Deku doing? Deku's just sitting there with no smirk. Just pity. Pity. Then Deku is... Man, I'm not really focused on the wave. I need to be focused. Deku is waiting until the substitute of the guy comes out, and the substitute does show up and just... And this is actually a guy Deku likes, because multiple times this guy has shown up, stopped Baku from doing what he's doing, and Baku can't do anything because this guy doesn't work at the school. So no one can really tell this guy that Bakugo can't be messed with. Because if they try to, he'll just say, "You don't pay me." By the way, the substitute is very often because all the teachers are really bad at their job. But this teacher is very nice, and is a very good teacher, honestly. And now the teacher is just sitting there saying the people who wants to do the job of going to all heroes. He doesn't throw the papers in the air because he's not a dumbass. He just says that and Deku wants to go to UA. Baka wants to go to UA, and everyone knows not to try and yell or do anything, or this guy's gonna immediately shut them up. So this time, Deku doesn't get exploded until the end of class where Deku is packing up his stuff. The substitute is left because he has more stuff to do. But he does give Deku a taser. He does give Deku a taser, looking at him with a knowing look. But Deku says he doesn't, pushing it back, looking at him like, "I don't need it." So the substitute does pick it up and leaves. Deku goes to Deku heads to his home. Deku is now going to anyways, Deku is going to his... Where does Deku go? Deku expects the explosion coming for him, so he just moves his hands and his notebook. Actually, no, he doesn't move his hand. He just moves his hands from, the desk. Don't worry, he has spares. He has a lot of spares of notebooks. Then Deku is just doesn't care. The Baku picks it up, then torches it. Deku is completely unfazed by his whole demeanor of trying to discriminate Deku. The guy Baku definitely thinks he has the upper hand, but no, you don't, Baku. You have zero. You have zero believers. Absolutely none. Deku talks. Well, doesn't talk. He just sits there, puts his hands on the actually open flame of the desk. Zero phase. He doesn't care. And then, bit shocks the police of the two guys behind Bakugo. So they just walk out without Bakugo noticing. So everyone's gone. There's no cameras in the room. Guess what's about to happen to Bakugo? Yeah, when I'm saying that line, Deku is standing up, moving away from the desk. Bakugo being a bit, not even the slightest bit spooked. Alright, so Deku is now, alright. Deku is just waiting until Bakugo does something so he can say it was self-defense. Because he definitely really, really wants to just pound Bakugo into a bloody pulp. His hand is now, remember when that time? So Bakugo actually does throw an explosion towards Deku. Then gets his hand twisted before he can even do it. Then Deku punches him in the face. Repeats, and he just keeps pummeling Bakugo. His hands are bloodied, most of his fingers are broken, because he's caving in Bakugo's skull with his feet. Well, actually, his boots and his fist, because he feels like he needs to put it out there, that you can't do it anymore, Bakugo. You're stuck being under my boot now. Even though Bakugo definitely will not think that, he will just think that Deku got a lucky shot on him. And then Deku just won't stop. And so Bakugo just sleeps. Then Deku finally removes his fist, actually with difficulty, from Bakugo's caved-in face. Deku just leaves. Deku just leaves. And Deku just picks up his bag and goes. Slime villain shows up. Deku just weaves all of his attacks and runs away. Deku go. Deku. Well, then he runs away because the slime villain got actually kind of a bit tired, and Deku's gone. Remember, this guy is like top of the track. No one cares though, because they'll say like, well, he's quirkless, so the only driving thing, even though they're like very exhausted and feel like, so they're trying to make excuses why they lost because all of those people suck. Deku goes home. Yeah, he just trains for the 10-month arc. Then he gets bigger. He gets bigger. He gets bigger than he was before. But you never can tell with this guy. He's just too freaking cool looking. Deku is a vigilante, beating up not even low rank, high rank villains. Because these villains keep underestimating Deku because they think they can take him on, until Deku cuts their foot open because Deku, you know, Deku goes for the guy's liver. They go out. He obviously heals them immediately after. Now just with the medkit, Deku is he's on some violent tendencies, but he won't just kill a person. It's still Deku here. It's still a guy who definitely has the determination to be a hero. Definitely, Deku is definitely getting some battle scars, but he's hiding them under his shirt and pants. Deku finds Deku is found. Well, one time while he was training against a villain who was pretty weak, honestly. Deku just had to use a trash lead to almost defeat him. The guy almost got away until Deku threw the freaking trash lid like a freaking Captain America shield and took him out, sliding him right in front of Aizawa, who was seeing Deku, chases him, but Deku is really fast. So Aizawa eventually being exhausted, because Deku is, remember, Deku has some really strong, very, very great lungs. Alright, Deku goes to his. He just escapes Aizawa, but still, good reaction. He couldn't see Deku's face, but he knows his hair is green and he was short. Well, he wasn't short, he was. Actually, yeah, he was short. Not short, actually. Oh, Deku is. Deku finds. What does Deku do? Deku. Well, Deku's just outrun, but Bakugo, well, not Bakugo, Aizawa, but let's just say the 10-month training arc is over, because we don't. And so Deku is just sitting with, sitting on the bus, waiting for the bus to stop at the UA, at UA. And he's just sitting there with his bare fist, and that's it. It's just Deku running in there, nothing but bare fist. And great techniques that he's learned over the 10 months. So Deku then finds well, if he sees Bakugo, but Bakugo not afraid. He actually tries to bump Deku, but Deku, as soon as he sees Bakugo about to do it, bumps even harder back, spinning Bakugo out of place, and popping his head and uh, bops his head into a pillar, getting a headache. That's what you get for being a cook, Bakugo. And Deku doesn't actually flicks the rock, deflecting it, then hitting Bakugo in the shins, making him fall. But Iroha actually saves him because he didn't see what happened with Deku and doesn't know. So he unreleases him, then gives Deku a death stare because she thinks he's in the wrong here for hurting Bakugo. Because thinking he's a villain, and then everyone's gonna think that now because Deku accidentally assaulted a man. But now, to be honest, Bakugo was definitely going to assault him even harder if he had got the chance. But now Deku is going towards well, the test, gets the test, does it immediately, gives it in, gets an A+, because he's just too smart and too strong. Deku gets into the front. Well, Ida tries to stop Deku, thinking he's going to talk to Uravaka, even though they're not on speaking terms. But he didn't see that. So he tries to put his hand in front of Deku, then rightly gets his hand twisted, puts his knee on the ground, and tells him to fuck off, and throws his hand to the ground. And like, holding his wrist because that was really painful. So he just leaves to get to the front, actually bumping into Uravaka and many people because they didn't feel like moving, but Deku just bumped them to move. Come on, Deku isn't going to be the nicest person now because people haven't really been showing him the greatest of feelings towards him. But no, people have just been showing him as a weakling, a person who wouldn't care who thinks he's weak even though he's been outplaying them in every physical activity and even mental activity. Everyone keeps downplaying Deku, so he wouldn't just assume a person would just not care if he was quirkless or not. But he doesn't know that now. Bakugo, Bakugo was really twisted Deku's mind because, you know, he's a jerk and it's going to be really hard for him to see people in a good light now. Even though my honest headcanon that Uravaka is a quirkless hater, so is Ida. I've just come to that conclusion on my own. Don't don't try and tell me the otherwise. It's just my personal theory. But anyways, where does that noise keep coming from? Deku is finding himself. Deku is finding himself, at the front of the line, waiting until the doors open, with twitching fingers, until Principal Mike says, "What are you doing? There's no countdowns." And then Deku busts down the door with his foot, even though those things were forward opening, not backwards opening. I think. Well, in this version they are. Deku just popped that thing right off its hinges. Remember, Deku's punched through solid steel with his bare fist. And I think his feet could do the same. Deku then runs in, grabbing one of the robots by its throat, tearing out its circuits, and then keeps doing the same to every single one that he comes into battle with. So everyone, well, obviously, predictably surpasses Deku, but Deku doesn't care. He then grabs onto one of them, then grabs onto one person, using them as a human weapon. The reason why he grabbed onto a certain person is because it was Tetsu. Him being in his hardened state, not wanting to be hit, using him as a weapon. Then he throws Tetsu on a bench, telling him, "You're welcome, I gave you a lot of points. We can share the point, alright? I think that's how that works." Tetsu says, "Thanks." Because that's actually what Deku was thinking. Because maybe if I grab onto the metal person, we can share the points. And yes, they actually do. We do cut to them, and they think, yeah, let's just make them share the point, okay? Okay, we'll take that. And yeah, so then Deku runs and destroys more robots with Tetsu. They are working together now because they both think they're pretty useful to each other. Tetsu wants to be friends, of course, and Deku is fine with the guy because he would like to help. So they do use teamwork multiple times. Usually the teamwork is Deku using Tetsu as a freaking weapon, but Tetsu doesn't care. He's getting a friend. Which, man, they're actually forming a bond. Fighting with a person can help with bonds, I've heard. It's how Vegeta and Goku became friends. They fought with each other. Deku well, they're working together, and they eventually Tetsu says, "Au revoir, Izuku. Au revoir, Izuku. My name's Tetsu. I'll see you later, Tetsu. Hopefully we see each other in the exam, in class. And let's just say something will happen with these two." Deku Deku starts to Deku is defeating all the robots until guess what shows up? The zero pointer. Deku, seeing all these cowards, sorry, not to save this person. Deku sees this massive thing and just goes, maybe I can impress someone with this. He can hear Ochako and thinks she's actually in an alley or something. And then he looks down, sees her, and says, "Oh, so it'd be good to help a person, I guess." And then Deku finds, runs to the zero pointer. The zero pointer swings at Deku. Deku just dodges it, grabs onto its finger, and then it moves its. Well, obviously that very much strains Deku because that was a really hard prediction. Then he throws up onto the. Then he flips into the air, looks towards. Deku's just flying in the air. The zero pointer not looking at Deku, thinking it hit him into a building. But no, he didn't. And Deku flies right into the onto the Zero Pointer's skull. Definitely some impact there, but Deku doesn't care. Then Deku starts, well, this is where his training has come from. He punches a hole straight through the Zero Pointer, opens up the Zero Pointer, gets into its head, and then it just starts tearing out all of the circuits, and the Zero Pointer starts like lagging around, falling backwards, forwards, sideways, until it eventually its body starts exploding. Then they see Deku jump straight off it, and you're wondering, yeah, Deku's screwed. Until an explosion saves him from the Zero Pointer's toe. You're wondering how Deku predicted that? He planned it. He grabbed the specific wire at the last second, and then jumped out of the Zero Pointer. You know how he knew that? Because he actually has been studying a Zero Pointer since the day he thought of becoming a hero. Because he knew he wanted to go to UA, and he just knew that he needed to be there. Check that out. Deku is planning things ahead years before it happens. Deku goes to... Then Deku just leaves. Well, actually, he walks towards Ravka, taking her out of the rubble, but not picking her up or anything. He just says, I hope you know, you were saved by a quirkless person? And then then gets disgusted by Deku, trying to hit Deku, but Deku just grabs her fist and twists it so it like hurts her wrist really badly. And then she stops her attack because well, obviously. Then she just passes out from all the pain that she's been feeling. I don't care about her. Deku goes to Bak. Then he just leaves. He doesn't care. He actually gets into UA. Into Class 1A, which is an impressive feat. It's Nezu there saying, we don't, well, we have, to be honest, sir, is it Deku, Izuku, Midoriya, we were not expecting a single quirkless person to show up. We only got rid of that rule so people wouldn't get diminished on not coming and helping people in the future. I gotta say, Izuku Midoriya, we are glad to have you this year. From the bottom of all of our staff, and then all the staff shows up, with Aizawa showing up, looking towards the screen. That you can see that he's thinking, in his mind from the past, he's thinking, I'm going to train you hard, kid. You better be ready for it. And, and then he sees All Might at the back. All Might telling him, oh, well, in his eyes, with a choppy hand on there, telling him, I'm very impressed. And then he looks towards Nezu, who is honest to God, very shocked and very excited in his eyes. And the thing turns off, they then say, welcome to UA, and the thing closes. And then they go to, then goes to, no, well, after the few weeks after they've been training, then he goes to for his first day. And guess who's there instead of Mineta? My boy, Tetsu. A skull. Tetsu is in Class 1A. Because this makes logical sense, because this ain't no way Mineta scored higher than Tetsu. The same guy was the exact same quirk as Kirishima. Which makes no logical sense why he wouldn't get in there too. I have a very high hate in him that he was very close to getting to 1A. But the only reason you didn't get in is because of Monoma paying the staff to get her, Monoma's parents paying them to let her in. And I don't want to. The reason they paid her to get in is because is because Tetsu beat her by 1 point, so they paid only like $20 just to make her in, get her in. You think that's a low standard, but no, it's 1 point. They can chalk it up to just. They actually denied the money, just saying it's 1 point. She did way better. She definitely had showed more skill than Tetsu. UA definitely has high standards, and they definitely thought Momo was better than Tetsu. Man, that was a whole theory. It's a pretty bad theory, to be honest. Like, she definitely did way more than Tetsu, and I fully believe that is true. In this timeline, that is what happened. But this time, Mineta didn't score high enough. So Tetsu's here. I like Tetsu. That's all I'm gonna say. And then Deku just sits next to Tetsu. I'm just gonna say Tetsu because that's too many words to say. Then they talk about their training regimens because they're showing to be great friends. Kirishima actually walks up to them, talking to them because Tetsu and Deku look like pretty manly people. And then Kirishima sits next to Deku, actually in front of Tetsu, and they just have a bromance. It's really nice because they're both they're both excited to. Well, the group is forming really nicely there. And now Deku's happy that he can make friends. And when they hear Deku's quirkless, they just say, that's even more manlier than them two combined, because the only reason they're here is because of their quirk. But Deku, he's only here because he uses his own abilities, instead of using the abilities that he would be gained by being born with one. But he wasn't. He had a quirk. He had a he has a he has the power to he has the power of will. His will is unbroken, and it will never be unbroken, no matter who or what says so. Oh, no, but anyways. Then Deku is brought outside to the. He's brought out to the field of. Not, well, the field. Deku throws a ball very far, actually. He gets as far as. Slightly farther than Tetsu, and Kirishima Ejo, which is impressive, because they threw pretty far. Yeah, of course they say, like, it was a challenge. Deku didn't get last. It was probably Hagakure, since she's not that strong, to be honest. Everything else Deku excels in because he's physically better than everyone. Yeah, those side-to-side jumps, Deku clears instantly with no difficulty. The grip strength, he gets second because he's very strong. Deku just keeps getting like third, fourth, fifth, or second. He just keeps going between those. But in the end, Hagakure's last, and she just keeps out. And then Shinzo joins the class the next day. Now we go to the then Shinzo shows up in the class at the next day, and Hagakure is gone. So I just placed two characters with two characters I actually like, and you can't do nothing about it. And now, hero training starts. Deku puts on his hero costume. I'll just say I would say he's just wearing like what is he wearing? No, uh, what would Deku be wearing in this situation? Because let's just say he's wearing a cape, very red, velvety cape, and Deku is wearing a very long cape. He looks pretty cool, and he wears a belt. He has black pants and black t-shirts and black gloves, and then a whole lot of trinkets in on his body. Deku psyched for the training, and of course he gets Bakugo versus Ida, with Ida and Baku having a grudge with Deku because Deku hurt Ida, and Baku holds a grudge, but Deku doesn't feel like fighting today. No, actually, he does. He does. He has Tetsu with him, and he got this. So he tells Tetsu that he'll deal with Bakugo and you'll deal with Ida. Okay? Tetsu says, "All right." Deku finds Bakugo. He was looking for Bakugo, but Bakugo was also looking for him. Tetsu just walks past, Bakugo not caring, just wanting to fight with Deku. And, well, the fight begins. Bakugo tries throwing he immediately just cocks his gauntlet and throws it at him. And then, All Might seeing a lot in Bakugo of himself, saying Bakugo should not, shoot the attack, but Bakugo doesn't care. Throws it. Deku somehow just brushing off an explosion. Well, he's bleeding, bruised, and in pain, but he grabs Bakugo by the wrist, snapping it. Actually, no. Well, snapping his arm, because that's pretty fair. You threw an explosion at me, I can snap your arm. And then Deku shoves his elbow into Bakugo's mouth, and then just grinds it in, and then throws it again, and again, and again, until Bakugo passes out. Payback's a bitch, Bakugo. Good night. Deku fixes his arm with a cast, and then leaves. Finding Tetsu beating Ida, because Ida can only throw attacks, but Deku can just block it. Tetsu can just run through it, but Tetsu has not been able to get to the bomb because Ida keeps kicking him backwards until Deku runs past Ida trying to hit Deku, but Deku, by luck, and I mean pure luck, barely dodges that. It was just an instinct in his bones to dodge. And then he jumps to the bomb, touching it, winning the battle. To be honest, he probably would have had a harder time against Ida, but luckily, he beat him. He got lucky and did an Ultra Instinct. He pulled an Ultra Instinct and touched the bomb. Good job. Then the hero team wins, and somehow Walker's not expelled. I don't know why. But anyways, yeah, Deku then tells Tetsu, great job. They do a handshake, and then we freeze frame. And that's where I'm going to leave things right now. Like, subscribe, hit the post notification bell. Liking helps with the algorithm. It does. Trust me. Subscribing helps me get motivated to post more videos, and also helps with the algorithm. It just does. Believe me, please. And hitting the post notification bell reminds you every time when I'm posting, if you like these kind of videos. Bye-bye.